Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and you see that it contains species of rights that are quite different than those although it contains those Enlightenment rights, species of rights that are quite different than the ones that were articulated during the Enlightenment, have to do with personage. They're about race. They're about sex, right? They're about grounds that we understand these days. Canada is one of those countries that began to implement the principles under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. In 1962, the Ontario Human Rights Code is passed, and the Commission is established. And if you look at the preamble to the Ontario Human Rights Code, and you look at the preamble to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, you will see the parentage. It is there. There's simply no question. Both of them speaking about human dignity and the right to human dignity. So that's important. And why is it important? Because from that time, the quest has been, hello quest? The quest has been for people in countries, in member countries of the United Nations, to make sense of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights at the local level, at the domestic level. What does it translate into? What does it mean? Well, for us, it's meant the articulation of a number of negative rights. And by negative, I don't mean bad. I mean their rights to protection against discrimination. In that sense, they could be articulated as negative rights. Okay? Here's an important thing. How long ago was that? Universal Declaration of Human Rights? 70 years ago. A scant 70 years ago. That, people, is the extent of the history of our human rights era. That's it. 70 years against the weight of human history. That's it. Because before that, we knew feudalism, autocracy, dictatorships, monarchy. That's it. 70 years. And so if we're having difficulty articulating the content of these rights, it's because we're dragging that great big ball of our history behind us. It's really important, I think, and certainly in the work that I do, to keep that perspective firmly in mind. So for educational institutions to be institutions of deep learning, they have to incorporate both work in relation to both those negative rights and positive rights. So what do I mean, right? Well, the negative rights have to do with the barriers that still exist within our systems to education, right? The barriers that still exist by way of systemic discrimination that result in different outcomes for different sorts of kids within our systems, different outcomes for disproportionate numbers of black kids, kids with disabilities, other racialized kids, and LGBT students. Those barriers still exist, and they dwell within the area of negative rights and in our need to continue to work in relation to those negative rights. But here's the thing, this is not a question of, well, we deal with the negative rights and then we deal with the positive well-being rights. We have to deal with them together, and that is the task for educators. Is to think about and to work on how it is possible to integrate both the practice of weeding out and addressing negative rights and addressing positive rights as well. Look at, you can't have well-being in an environment where sexual harassment exists. You can't have well-being in an environment where race discrimination exists, either direct or indirect. You can't have well-being where LGBT kids are being harassed or where they don't feel that they belong within the community of schools. And so it's absolutely clear what the agenda entails, and that is working on both those matters at the same time. So as we move forward, I think that what I'd like to end with is to invite people to spend some time looking at that new equity action plan that the Ministry of Education has put out and my office is working on, take a look at it. There are parts of that document that you can identify quite clearly as acting to remove negative environments in schools and workplace and educational workplaces, as well as addressing well-being. Take it to heart. Work with our office, work with whoever you have to work with in your school boards and in your schools to make those rights a reality. But above all, I think it's important is to keep where we are in history firmly in mind. This is a special country. I'll end with this, right? This is a special country at this time. In so many ways, this country and a few others are islands in a huge storm where you, as educators, lie as the bulwark against the kinds of things that are happening elsewhere. So it behooves us to take the challenge of working to ensure both the removal of negative environments within our schools, but at the same time, to build promise for students and communities. Thanks very much.